And welcome back. It is 10:40 here in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's now time for an update from Mike Chalkwater, who's the project manager on the Affordable Care Act Compliance Project. Mike, over to you.
Thanks, Tyler. Affordable Care Act Compliance. Let's take a look at this. So for the background and process, the Affordable Care Act was signed into law in March of 2010. Case Western is a provider of health insurance to both employees and students. Case Western is considered an applicable large employer, or ALE, by ACA standards, which means, that's determined as having 50 or more full-time employees in the prior tax year on average. So starting in 2015, the IRS is mandating that all ALEs have to provide information reporting to the IRS for its covered individuals. So what does it mean to Case Western? Well, what we have to do is to conform with the IRS reporting requirements is to mail 1095 forms to recipients by the end of March, and then followed, but with e-files to the IRS by the end of June. So those are the IRS imposed deadlines. Next, let's look at the project status. So for the employee piece, what the project team has done is installed the most recent Oracle delivered software patches to HCM production. They have also corrected employee data in HCM production to resolve data discrepancies related to ACA eligibility for covered individuals. And they've successfully tested the process that creates the data file that is uploaded to the FT William application, the FT William application is used to print the 1095 forms which get mailed. The next is student status. So for the student piece of the project team has resolved all data discrepancies for plan members. They've successfully uploaded the data file to the OneSource application, which is an application that is used to print the 1095 forms in readiness for mailing. And most recently, they've released the 1095 forms printing, forms for printing and mailing. So those are going to be in the mail shortly to recipients. Next, let's look at some project milestones. So for the employee side, we're targeting March 11th to have all the data loaded to the FT William application. We're targeting March 18th to start the printing and mailing process for the 1095C forms. And then, like I mentioned, e-file to the IRS by the end of June. So those are all on track. For the student piece, last Friday we completed the data load to the OneSource application, and we're targeting March 15th to start the printing and mailing process of the 1095B forms to recipients. Again, followed at the end of June with e-file to the IRS.
Thanks, Mike, for that update. So a quick question came in from the audience. Since the university will be e-filing these forms, is there any action required of students and employees at this time?
There's nothing required from students or employees regarding the 1095 forms. Those forms are informational, so when you receive them in the mail, you should use them for your tax purposes. It's not when you file your or complete your 1040, your personal tax return. This is not a form. The 1095 is not a form that has to be filed with that or submitted with that. It's just informational for your own informational use, and it also provides as proof that you had coverage. So if for some reason you file your return and you get an IRS inquiry at some point later down the road, you have the 1095 form to show the IRS that you in fact did have coverage. It proves that you have coverage. If you can't prove you have coverage, then you might be subject to a personal penalty.
Thanks for the answer to that question, Mike. So if someone already filed their taxes for this year, there's nothing required of them, right? They're still good to go?
No, there's nothing required, no additional steps you would need to take. When you receive the 1095 form, just put it in your tax folder and keep it for your own informational use. And if for some reason you lose the form, or there's ways that we can have it reprinted. You can call the number that's on the form and get assistance with that.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you very much.